In a world torn apart by war, the loudest battles weren't always fought with rifles. They raged quietly, in kitchens, fields, and shattered homes. These are the forgotten stories of ordinary Americans who faced extraordinary chaos. The untold side of the Civil War, where courage wore no uniform. Discover the forgotten heroes who fought without guns, stories that redefine true courage. Please stay tuned by subscribing to Antique Visions. Your feedback on this video in the comments will inspire us to be more inquisitive. So let's get started. Imagine your life turned upside down by a conflict you didn't choose. No gun in your hand, no battlefield orders, just survival, faith, and the desperate hope that tomorrow might come. When the Civil War began, nearly half the nation's population wasn't fighting, they were enduring. Civilians, caught between armies, faced hunger, disease, and loss that history books rarely mention. More than 50,000 civilians perished, not from bullets, but from starvation, displacement, and epidemics that swept through war-torn towns. Families fled burning cities. Farms became graveyards. And for every soldier marching to glory, there were mothers burying the remains of what was once home. In Gettysburg, women and children hid in basements for 3 days as shells tore through their streets. When the guns fell silent, they emerged, and found their town turned into a cemetery. They dug graves, cared for the wounded, and turned parlors into hospitals. They weren't soldiers, but they were warriors in every sense. Through their resilience, the home front became the invisible battlefield, a place where strength meant survival. Behind every letter sent to the front was a woman holding her family together with sheer will. They tilled the land, rationed food, and prayed through sleepless nights, heroes with calloused hands and trembling hearts. Southern women, once sheltered by comfort, now stood knee-deep in mud planting crops. Northern women formed aid societies, sewing uniforms and tending the wounded in hospital tents that stank of blood and fear. Some, like Clara Barton, carried bandages through gunfire, refusing to flee even when bullets pierced the air. They redefined what courage meant. Children, too, bore the weight of war. Boys as young as 10 served as drummers or messengers, their childhood traded for the echo of cannon fire. Others became silent witnesses, scavenging for food in ruined towns, guiding soldiers to safety, or carrying messages through enemy lines. And for the enslaved, the war was both terror and opportunity, a storm that could finally wash away the chains of centuries. In the shadows of plantations, whispers of freedom spread like wildfire. Some risked everything to flee toward Union camps, following the North Star through swamps and gunfire. Others stayed behind, sabotaging supply lines, hiding Union soldiers, or spreading intelligence that would change the course of battles. Their courage was quiet, but it bent the arc of history toward justice. War didn't just destroy armies, it destroyed economies. Inflation soared. In the South, the cost of flour rose by 900%. People traded shoes for food, rings for medicine, anything to survive. In Savannah and Charleston, women stormed bakeries demanding bread for their children, their cries echoing louder than cannon fire. But even in the ruins, Americans adapted. Homemade soap replaced imports. Old dresses were unraveled to make new ones. Towns built their own currencies, scraps of paper that symbolized hope more than value. People bartered, traded, and reinvented survival, one loaf, one needle, one act of defiance at a time. In that chaos, America learned a new resilience. From ruin, communities began building the foundations of a more self-reliant nation. Through the ashes of war, we see the strength that built a nation, not just the soldiers, but the mothers, children, and dreamers who refused to give up their humanity. Their courage reminds us that history is not just about winning battles, but about unbroken spirits. So let's celebrate their resilience, and keep their stories alive. Subscribe to Antique Visions for more historical videos.